questions, donations, we're providing the quality of the assessment rates increased slightly. If you look at the numbers, I saw people in the stand at the community rodeos. I also had the opportunity to attend a couple of non-rodeo related LGBTQ sport conferences and meet with other leaders of sport, attend some conferences, a number of different issues, and meet with potential sponsors, and meet with the tourism people from a number of different cities. And I can just tell you that there is a tremendous interest in IGRA. Many of them have not really heard about IGRA, and they were very interested. They were very keen to have us locations and to share information and so on. So that was an important aspect of I did have a business scholarship.
bylaws, half of that is decided to give it to charity. $4,500 on the side will be split between the Trevor Project and the Transgender Law Center from the contestant entry fees from this year's competition. The 20 proved to be a big success, with moving the full-scale production to the grounds, giving the IGRA and the community the full, well-rounded 4-day World Gay Rodeo Finals event that we were hoping for. The participation of 18 contestants in the competition provided 3 nights of solid entertainment and yielded a talented and large 12-member 2025 IGRA Royalty team. This team has hit the ground running with great communication, fundraising already happening, and more in the planning stages. My heart was full in El Reno on Sunday when the current and new teams jumped up to help serve everyone your dinner in the evening without even being asked, and stayed to the very end of the evening, striking the entire room, loading cars, and making sure that everyone was sent on their way and that the room was left better than we found. So thank you to the team for that. That just shows a lot about your character. We want to say a big thank you to the Canadian County Expo and Event Center, the IGRA Royalty Competition Production Team, and the IGRA Alumni Fund for helping us execute a vision of this competition that we have wanted to see for many years. All of the members of the Royalty Production Team have signed on for another year and will be joining us in Reno. We have quite a team. And we look forward to rising to the challenge of providing another exciting royalty competition and event to exceed expectations. Please remind the Vice Presidents of Royalty Coordinators and Member Associations that I am available should they have any questions about entering
As most of you know, I can be a handful, I said that, to deal with, and look, they survived. This past year, I've overcome some hurdles in this position that I honestly wasn't expecting. We have dealt with those hurdles in the best way we could, and to be honest, as quietly and discreetly as possible. We made it to the first convention with almost everything we need to operate as a business, and we're going to be okay. Many people told me this thousands of times over the past year, that we would be okay, and I'm glad they were right, because I will say I had my doubts. As you know already, we even had minutes from the last convention that we didn't start with this year. In my mind, that was a huge success. Knew what it took to make that happen. I had lots of ideas about things I wanted to see happen this past year in IGRA. Unfortunately, I had to set my ideas aside this year to look out for the interests of IGRA in this new role. That's okay, because that's why we're elected, right? To look out for IGRA. I know you all had that expectation. This coming year will be different. I dug those ideas out of the pile. So fasten your seatbelts. I've caught up on most of the paperwork we need, and you'll be hearing from me about these ideas throughout the year. I just want to touch on one of those thoughts on that list. I feel the IGRA Secretary position is functioning pretty much the way I would have imagined they did at that very first organizational meeting way back then. Just add the use of email to how we started, and that's where we are today. However, it just makes good sense to use the technology that's available nowadays to make things easier and more efficient. So 2 things I'm going to need. I need the associations to get on board as I ask for this change. Remember, we're being recorded now. Remember, I promise I will be nice. And I will listen to any issues you may have, and we will make things. Just to set aside some funds for IT enhancement. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. We don't need to build a huge technological infrastructure. We just need to start investing in making things easier and better for all of us. I think you'll find that this type of investment will make everyone a lot happier, even if it's done just a little bit at a time. As I said earlier, 2 guys that, you remember we had a rule book before the Phoenix rodeo? Remember that? How long? Yeah. That's been a long time since that's happened. And it wouldn't have happened without Mike and Benjamin and ours. And so I would like to recognize as the 2024-2025 IGRA Secretary an appreciation award to Michael Lentz and Benjamin Avant in recognition for their above and beyond support in the smooth transition of secretarial duties, because it would not have happened without them. Michael, come up here. Don't worry, I paid for it. Correction, Frank paid for it. That would have been tacky. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions for Gene? Thank you, Gene. Next up is the treasurer's report from David Hill.
I'm sorry, I have no awards to give. However, I would like to report, I sent my report in, but of course it's not on the screen right now. We are doing quite well this year through October. Every profit center, convention, WGRF, royalty, university, all made money for us. And I would like to also thank the efforts of the alumni and what they have done for our rodeo. Mark Arnold. I really don't have anything else to say. I'm a numbers guy, kind of boring. Are there any questions? Oh, here's financial. As you can see, the profit so far is over $62,000. Don't get totally excited. We have income from convention, but we don't have expenses in there yet. So that is going to go down. You'll notice WGRF, net profit 31K. Royalty as of October, net profit 23K. University, not as great, but really great to have a profit, approximately 2K. And like I said, convention has a net profit of 15K, but they have no expenses in there. That's going to be come down considerably, but regardless, we are doing very well. Thank you, everyone. Any questions?
No questions for David? Thank you, David. It's always great to have good news. Next up is the corporate auditor report. I don't believe we have that at this time. We'll come back to that. Next up is our executive director, Tommy Chow.
Thank you. It's that time of year again when we start thinking about our liability insurance requirements. We just ask that anyone who is hosting a rodeo school off of your rodeo weekend and you want to be on that schedule and have a liability coverage, to please let me know. Those requests for renewal will be going out very, very quickly after this weekend, and then the renewal voted on at first quarter board meeting. And any questions about that?
Thank you, Tommy. Table 2, you have a question? Yes. We can. I don't have it at all. All right. A couple of quick announcements. First of all, the Rodeo Rules meeting will meet at the first break, which will be shortly. And the Outreach Committee will meet at the next break also, which will be shortly. Let's see. Chris, where would you like the WPS 24th meeting? What area? Oh, immediately following lunch today, have you chosen a location? The rooms are available back there, in the back. And where will community outreach be meeting on the break? In the lobby, on the sofas. Table. Table 8. Animal Welfare Committee will meet outside, directly back here at the break. At this time, I'd like to ask us to take a break. 10-minute break. Oh, Rodeo Rules will meet in this corner here. Yeah. No, I got it handled. I've lost my network connection.
Oh, wow.
I just sent you a email for the president's report. President's meeting report.
Okay, it's working.
Okay.
I think it's working. I don't know how it's working, but it's working.
Okay, so the buzz is gone.
The buzz is gone.
Okay, I can turn this off.
If you guys will start winding it up, we're about a minute away from the end of this break. So we're just kind of getting let everything done.
What the hell?
Oh, never mind. Sorry, I have bad news. I have bad news. It's recording us through this microphone. That's why it's not working. The reason it's working is because it's going through this microphone instead of.
Please come back to order.
Okay, I'm trying to turn off this message.
But we might need it still because it's.
I'm not eliminating it,
Oh.
I'm just turning it off.
Okay.
If everybody could please take your seats and close the back doors, I'd appreciate it. If they're by the back door and you close it for me, that'd be wonderful. As requested, you'll see the information on how to get to the delegate access is being displayed at the moment.
Oh, damn. Let me unplug this stuff. Everything quit.
All right, go ahead and take your seats. You know, just when you think you know. Speaking of Gene Frakes membership. And I'm going to put my report up here. So I'll be
I've lost all the cameras. Okay, what's the number?
membership. Go report. Thank you.
Everything's fine.
The membership meeting was called to order by myself at 8:30 a.m. The chair reported that we had received and both MIGRA and ASBRA had met the requirements to add the recommendation, or add the territory. Chuck Browning from CRGRA made a motion to recommend renewal of all associations and was seconded by Cheryl Parker, MGRA. The motion passed unanimously. It is the recommendation of the committee that the annual convention approve all association renewal requests for 2025. Discussion was held around the renewal process with several ideas offered for improvement. The committee decided to remove the requirement to send bylaws with renewal applications. The committee voted to recommend approval of MEM-04 shown below. The meeting was adjourned at 9:30 a.m. Respectfully submitted, Gene Brent's membership committee chair. Hold on, I screwed it up already. But membership committee was reconvened at 5 p.m. to consider proposals that should have been addressed in the morning meeting, but was overlooked. The committee considered 3 proposals. It was decided by the committee to recommend approval of MEM 01 shown below. Meeting adjourned at 5:20 p.m. Respectfully submitted. Do we have, any, proposal one? Did we get that too? And, 01. Wait. Let it go away. Let it go away.
Picking up the microphone, that's a podium.
Looking for any,
That podium mic, mic is what's giving us audio. That's the webcam. I'm sorry.
hopefully everybody's enjoying their morning breakfast and their evening after hours. No, still no.
We're picking up the sound from one of the cameras.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any discussion on MEM 01? Any discussion? Seeing none? I can tell you that in the committee, the discussion was that the members of the committee felt that there was no harm in this, and that was the extent that it went to. There was no identification of advantages, disadvantages. It was a no harm type thing. That's all I can address. Table 1.
Mark Arnold, CGRA. Maybe I can answer that. It was to safeguard some of the smaller organizations that can still have an association with a lower number. Also, in Europe, it doesn't require that many when you kind of see it in other countries.
Any further discussion on MEM 1? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion passes. Get MEM 02, please. 4, please.
The memo 4.
Give me a moment to digest this. Any discussion on MEM 04? 04. Any discussion, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you, Gene. Next up, we have Benjamin Levant, and bylaws training.
Good morning. As listed on the screen, we met yesterday, starting at 9:30 till a little after 5. I'd like to thank the committee members for sure. We did another cooperative job with everybody there, so it's very much appreciated chasing down the information we needed beyond our records. We considered the advanced proposals that you'll see in a moment. We also, there was one new proposal that was a small editorial change. It's probably editorial, but we wanted to capture some secretary, so it will not get lost for the secretary's needs. And then finally, as you can see on the report, the budget committee considered an item and brought to us for our review, and they asked if we would present that on their behalf to the floor, so that would come up in this committee, and therefore budget will have no action items beyond the informational piece. And that's all the information on the report. It's time for proposals unless anyone has any questions.
Can we get, I'm sorry, ESR 01 out, please?
And it's written in the report, but I'd like to reiterate that DSR 01 was about 50-50 split in the committee. So the committee has brought it to the floor without a recommendation as is listed in the report. So the committee does not recommend this for adoption. The committee recommended to send it to the floor with no recommendation to let this board debate and decide. All of the other ones, DSR 2 forward, are with the committee's recommendation. So that's the distinction between one and the other.
Give you a moment to digest this proposal. I'm trying to get it to scroll slowly. Is there any discussion on this proposal? Okay.
Dean Franks, Secretary. The only reason I'm wanting to speak on this is because I submitted it, and I want you to understand it, because as I was told, there was some folks in the committee that may not have realized what exactly it was. This section is referencing to when a member association places a member of their association as not in good standing. In this bylaw, there are a couple of things that happen. There's things that the association is supposed to do, and then when that's received, there are things that IGRA is supposed to do. When I was notified by association this year of a member being placed not in good standing with that membership, I was notified with a disclaimer that that association did not want IGRA to do anything about it, which made that very difficult, the way that it was reported to us. So we chose to honor that request by the executive board, chose to honor that request by the association, and we did nothing. What I believe in talking to the association happened is they didn't understand exactly what they should have done, which would have been nothing. And by doing something, it should have required IGRA to do something based on what's written here. So all this does is tell them, if you don't want us to do anything, don't tell us.
Further discussion? Table 4.
Thank you. I'm Shannon McKenzie from IGRA. My concern with this clause making it optional to let IGRA know is with predator behavior. So I am a former employee of USA Gymnastics, and as most of you know, we experienced something very grave within our organization that could happen in our organization here if we're not careful with how we handle certain types of reasons that we might have a member that is no longer in good standing. So I think with this wording, we leave space for, God forbid we have a predator in our midst, but if that were to happen, we leave space for that person to go undetected from association to association. And that to me is why I would oppose this as it is written.
Further discussion? Table 11.
Dr. Boosley, if you're, I just want to point out, if you look at bullet H, it does have a provision for plants and trees that are supposed to be
Table 15. 16.
Yeah, we discussed this in the president's meeting because when someone not in good standing and they leave that state and move to another state, a lot of times the other state doesn't know that they're really new. And we had this problem in the early 90s with a very contestant that was basically going from city to city and state to state, saying that they were sponsored by Wrangler and they were looking for sponsors from the bar. And he was basically investing the money because he was moving past the United States. So we kind of wanted to come up with a solution also to what to do in this situation. So we looked at it and really, for us as presidents to communicate when we remove someone from someone.
Table 2. Table 2, right?
Good morning, Tom Sheridan, TGRA. I guess my question might be back to Gene. This does not take away the ability of an association, to both of your points, to say, we've had a bad person in IGRA, we want IGRA to know that. Or not.
Any further discussion? Oh, we're going to table 4 first.
Historically, in the United States, when it comes to predators within organizations choose to keep it quiet, not make a big deal about it, and that's why it persists in organizations throughout the United States. I think it's really important that we take that into consideration when we make our decision, that choosing to allow wording that might give protection so as to save face is not the best decision, in my opinion.
Gene Fritz?
Okay, currently, in our current bylaw that was done, there's absolutely nothing that prevents that from happening. Meaning, if the association where the offender is doesn't report that to IGRA, then IGRA cannot put into motion their current process for dealing with that. This proposal doesn't change that at all. The only thing this proposal does is, if there's a situation in a association that they don't want IGRA to take action, it's clarifying that you should not report that to IGRA, because if you report it, we have a process that's going to kick into play, and it's going to happen. But IGRA has no way currently to force associations to report something that they do. Absolutely no way right now in today's world. This proposal does nothing but clarify that there is not an option to tell us and have us do nothing. That's all this does.
Is there any further discussion? Table 4?
I think this needs to be taken back to committee. I think the wording could be changed in a way that makes it more protective of our workers.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the proposal say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. No. Motion carries. Go ahead and count, I can get some assistance. Okay, we've got, who's counting? Benjamin and Benjamin, Tommy, we count. All those in favor of the proposal, please raise your hand. This is in favor of the proposal. Keep your hands high, please. Some of you older folks are having a hard time keeping their hand up. Use yours. Thank you. You can put your arm down. All those opposed, please raise your hand.
So it's frozen.
Once this program starts streaming, you can't stop it or everything goes haywire. The only camera I have working right now.
Yeah. So I may have to fix the ground home for the audio.
And you're just looking for isolated.
Yeah, that's kind of.
You can put your hands down, please. Give us a moment to do the math. We're going to do a roll call vote. location, just to be clear on the map. So Gina, would you do a roll call vote, please?
So in a homeowner association, I just need the total number 4 and the total number against. With the exception of us up here, that's all that's going to be. Brian Heelan, President. Okay. Michael Bruin, Vice President. I didn't hear that. That is 4. I'm voting for. David Hill. 4. CGRA.
6 opposed.
CGRA.
6-4.
GSGRA. 6 against. 6 against. Got it. UGRA. And GRA. That's 4 in favor, 1 opposed. And then GRA. And SGRA. That's 2 in favor, 1 against, 1 abstention. DSRA. Five, 4, 1 opposed. ASGRA.
6-4.
MGRA. MIGRA. That is 3 opposed. RRRA. UGRA. CRGRA. That was 3 in favor. ILGRA. 1, 4, 3 against.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out when they start talking. 'Cause I can't. I'm waiting for them to start talking so I can tell if it's still coming through the microphone.
I hear rumors.
We're the ones who have a question.
I just heard you.
may have missed it earlier. I don't know if originally the actual total count
Yeah,
of
it's
the
coming from
delegates
this
and
microphone.
two-thirds majority of what those numbers are.
The total delegate count of what I would say, what I would call it this way, is the total votes that are eligible to be cast is 84. So 50%, two-thirds doesn't apply to that number. It applies to the total number of votes cast. So in this case, it was 75. So of that number, I can tell you that 36 is people.
By the roll call vote, this motion passes by 54 to 2. Can we get the next bylaw, please? Yes, what was that? 01 passed, Frank, if that was the question I heard. This is 02 now. Is there any discussion on BSR 02? Table 2? Table 2.
No. Tim Smith with TGRA. My only thought on this, seeing this, is from the production side of how that would be if an association was to host this and have enough space ahead of time by not knowing how many people they're going to seat in a room at a max number. That might be a huge concern if you're going to allow as many delegates and alternates to register.
Any further discussion? Table 9.
Sorry, sorry. Tim, we did address that issue in regards to capacity, and it was kind of the consensus of the committee that we typically are not going to run into one association bringing 20 to 50 alternates. So nobody really, it was a concern, but didn't think that it was going to be that we wanted to address.
Any further discussion on BSR 02? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. No. Motion carries. Can we have BSR 03, please? All right, BSR 03 is on the screen. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries. Moving now to BSR 04.
This one looks really long and complicated. It's really not. We had probably what was a typo at the very top of that on the title of the article. Instead of objects and purposes, it was probably objectives. as we search through all the bylaws, standing rules, and rodeo rules, we searched for every instance of objectives, purposes, goals, intents, and aim, all of which were used in no particular order or categories. So we've clarified that all of that, everywhere it appears, it should be objectives and purposes. In some cases, simply objectives versus intents, aims, or goals. So you'll see a lot of locations this occurs, but it's all the same change in bylaws, in standing rules, and it even occurred a couple of times in rodeo rules. So you'll see that appear as well as you go through this. But don't be frightened by the length.
Is there any discussion on BSR 04? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries. BSR 05. Is there any discussion on BSR 05? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries. BSR 06. Any discussion on this proposal, 06, BSR 06? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries. I believe that's, oh, I see budget. Table 1.
Just a question of clarification, you can address why.
Just a question of clarification as to why they want to remove this.
Table 10.
Michael Lenz, Atlantic State Bureau Association. I originated this, and David Hill very graciously let the budget committee discuss this, and then it was also taken to bylaws. If you're either of those ones, you've heard my speech before. There are two pieces of money here that are referred to as support for finals. This is something that was created about 20 years ago. Actually, more than that. It's more like 30 years ago, I think. The second half of that, there's actually two pieces of money mentioned in A. That's really the core of this. The rest of this is just associated with that. So look at A, that's where the change is. That second part, that's the easy part to talk about. That doesn't even exist. That's a ghost of years ago that we never found that ghost or saw that ghost and fixed it. It was 50 cents if you're really old enough. You remember the 50 cents that was taken out of your contestant fees? That's been gone for about 15 years. It just took us 15 years to find this.
So that doesn't exist. That's the first thing. The second thing is there was a time when as we were funding finals, and finals was supported by individual associations or hosted rather than being an IGRA sponsored event, there was a perception or need to make sure that finals didn't lose money. And so there was this sort of tricky accounting transfer that took the money that originally had been set up to support individual rodeos and their expenses to IGRA, auditor travel, supplies, camera, etc. And there is no need really for this because it was an accounting entry. This is really creating a journal entry, and it's mandating something take place in the accounting. So in that sense, it's probably inappropriate, first of all. Second of all, you can't really have income twice, and that's what was happening in our books. So our official accounting had to correct this every year to make the second payment, the phantom payment disappear. We now have a different way of funding finals. Fortunately, the hardworking alumni have created a fund that's triple what this amount of money was. This is just cleaning up our accounting system, getting us back to where we don't have to create a special fund when there's really no need for a special fund. And it allows us to actually get rid of one of our banking accounts, for that matter, that really doesn't serve a purpose anymore. So, second part, the vestigial organ. The first part probably should have never been in the first place. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Table 5.
I just want clarification. If this is removed, is this removing the money that the contestants put in all year long to that fund?
They don't. We quit doing that 30 years ago. There is no.
There's no money that goes from every rodeo to the finals?
No. That disappeared about 15 to 20 years ago. Yeah.
Table 11.
Guy, please, the jury, if you refer back to that proposal 6 that we just passed, that addresses your question.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries. I'd like to thank our 2 microphone carriers, Tessa and Ryder. Ryder, in the interest of time, you may just want to take a seat by Robert Thurtell. Any questions for bylaws?
Robert, put on your phone.
Again, I'd like to thank the committee for your hard work. I do appreciate that. Thank you for going back and updating your delegations. It has made this morning go very smoothly for our committee, so I appreciate your work. And with that, the bylaws committee report is concluded.
Robert Thurtell, rodeo rules. Now he's got nothing to say. Oh, you're here. Did you want to do that?
No, I said now you're here. Tell me to shut up.
Oh, okay. I'm so confused. Here's Robert. He's got the microphone.
He talks too much, he doesn't talk enough, his phone rings too loud. Okay, Brian, they do have an election later on. Just saying. All right. Do we have the committee report, Frank, or whoever's?
Rodeo
Rodeo
rules.
rules, sorry. The report's not loaded, that's fine. So I'll try to do it off of memory, kind of, sort of. It will be loaded up later on. Great meeting yesterday. For those of you who attended, I think the numbers end up like 28 people throughout the day who came through Rodeo Rules, attended by 14 member associations, which is every association. So congratulations on the attendance to everybody being there for that. Rodeo Rules yesterday was done by 11 o'clock until we had to wait on some other things, which drug us out a little bit. But pleased with how it went, pleased with the input on some items that we had. We spent about an hour and a half on just some roundtable stuff, looking forward and things we might start looking at and considering. The proposals coming to the floor here currently, we'll look at RR01. Wait a second. Do you need me to explain that? Okay.
Is there any discussion on rodeo RR1? Any discussion?
This should be, Jeremy, that's not right, isn't it? Isn't that HS one? They were one wrong.
Hang on.
No, maybe not.
No.
We can go with this.
Any discussion on this proposal? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Oh, you got this.
Moving now to RR2. Is there any discussion on RR2? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries. RR3. Number 11.
Back to the city engineer, just clarification, because I was in early rules in the morning, and these proposal numbers do not match the ones that were addressed in the committee. So if you can clarify, please.
Yeah, I can. These were some of those. Okay. Benjamin had sent out an original packet that had already been numbered. I didn't get that. That was why the meeting over here we had earlier. So I had already had some of our numbers in the meeting yesterday. Those went away. We just went back and used those numbers again. Instead of making this 10 or 11 or 12, those were available. We just threw that in there. So it does. I can provide you with copies of all of it.
I'm just trying to be clear with that. Which ones failed and which ones passed in committee for record keeping. So just want to make sure that these other ones don't disappear. So they should either be re-enumerated or something.
Benjamin with an answer.
Maybe. Yeah, reported out of committee to the convention floor generally or traditionally has been only the items that passed in committee. So committees can renumber, redo whatever they need to, whatever they'd like to do. There's not really a record of things that failed in committee. There's only a record of the advanced proposals sent out and what comes out of committee. And those two things may look identical, they may look not identical. So there's no process issue with a committee renumbering things if that's what they choose to do. Whether it's recommended or not might be a different question.
Table 10.
Just a point of grammar, inaugural first, I think it's going to be your inaugural year, first year.
Have Frank remove first. But not have to test the I could do it. It just says inaugural year.
The table 10, can the committee, Rodeo Rules Committee please stand? Voting members of the Rodeo Rules Committee. I'm going to let you have it.
Motion to strike the word first.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All right, you can handle it.
Okay. Any discussion on removing the word first, so it reads, a contestant's inaugural year? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Amendment go in.
Thank you. Are you able to strike the word first from this proposal, Frank? Okay. Benjamin is doing it.
That was it.
Just three. Go ahead and refresh, Frank. And then David.
I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to accomplish. Please give me background.
Go ahead.
So if we have a contestant who comes in, it's their first year, their rookie year of competing, and they competed under one gender. The next year they came back and competed under the other gender. They were able to receive rookie cowgirl 1 year, rookie cowboy the next. This makes it only their inaugural season, no matter what the gender is.
Table 9.
Chris Tubbin, North Star Neighborhood Association. So, again, with the grammar, establish a Rookie of the Year award for contestants in the first year of IGRA competition. And then we're repeating the same sentence, just using the word inaugural, which is just a synonym for first person. The contestants inaugural year of competing will qualify. So we're repeating the same two sentences over and over.
Did you hear what he said? It's not just explain
Table 6.
The next one.
Table 6. Quiet, please.
The question would be, should we change contestants to person? Because when a contestant changes gender markers, they also change contestant numbers. And that might be a book whether it's a inaugural year or because it's a new contestant. Louder, please. If it's their inaugural year as a different gender and it's listed as contestant, they get a new contestant number when they change their gender marker. So we need to clean that up and say person instead of contestant.
So in answer to that, I just had a conversation with one of the auditors here that said that they would have to go back to look at a previous IGRA number that was given to them to bring it together, but they can't do that. So to your point.
Any further discussion? David Hill.
David Hill, Treasurer. I question another part of this. It says that it is determined by the contesting earning the most or the total points. Should that be changed to world points?
Way to go, D. Congress.
Any other discussion? Table 10.
The categories, male and female should also be referred to as non-voting members, those are our action categories. So I actually motion to return this to committee.
There's a motion on the floor. Did I hear a second? And who seconded it? County Bowles? All those in favor of returning this to committee for clarification, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Robert, you'll take this back. Robert, you'll take this back to committee. Can we get, can we get the next proposal, which would be 05? Any discussion on Rodeo Rule 05? Table 5?
I was in the committee and I've never seen this.
We just did it. It was one of the 5 that we had when I called you together this morning.
Table 3.
On the document is labeled RR04 and on the link is R5.
Jeremy.
Is it 5?
5. Jeremy, is this supposed to be 5 or 4? Is this supposed to be RR04 or 5?
No. This is RR05. Benjamin's going to affirm it.
Hang on a second, I'll get through that. It's probably copy and paste some.
Frank, can you refresh, please? And scroll to the top.
Is that correct, Robert?
Yep. Correct.
All right, table 13.
Scroll down.
Sammy Simpson, River Rodeo Association. So this accidentally got, this is a clerical thing, so it accidentally got sent to rodeo rules. Then it got sent to the WGRF committee, which, yes, I'm getting there, which Roger Bergman then said, take it to the black shirts and let them discuss it. And they turned the entire proposal down. So that was the process that had happened. Benjamin had asked me to go chase it down because we didn't really know what it was.
Table 9. Frank, can you scroll down a little bit, please? There you go.
Sorry, so based on that statement, is this supposed to be in here or not?
No.
It came to us in rodeo rules. And it passed this morning, standing over here to bring it to the floor.
Okay.
So if it should make no brainer.
Okay, so number 2, first of all, I think you have a typo, and that's supposed to be all awards.
Y'all
And I did have a discussion with Tommy Channel, since you are the executive director. You would mind clarifying that statement number 2?
Hi, Tommy. Just so you know, I did not submit it. I agree with it. It was simply to have consistency in coordinating and soliciting for things such as Grand Marshal and honorarium and things like that, and ordering buckles in a timely manner. And it does take working with not only IGRA board, but with the WGRF committee. So it's merely a consistency and accuracy of years and things like that go on the buckles. It's all it really is for.
Table 3.
David Lawson, GSGRA. I think that what I just heard was this was never supposed to come to rodeo rules. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one thing. Then when it did come to rodeo rules, I think we kind of quickly looked at it. I think that it was said, oh, this is about buckles. Okay, move on. This is about more than buckles. So if we are still going to deal with it, I think it needs to go back to committee. And are we supposed to deal with it anyway?
Table 4.
Mark Christensen, IGRA. This was brought to the rodeo finals, to the black shirts. We turned this down. This is taking the power away from their black shirts to be able to get their belt buckles and things. And means that this is just another added, having to go to another person. And we turned this all down because we don't need to add more people to that.
I've got you, Michael, in a minute, just in order. Table 5.
I just wanted to echo what Mark said. I think that we have a committee in place. If they call on the executive director to certainly help them, because Tommy's done it, many years, that'd be great, but I don't think that we need to be taken away from a committee that does a great job.
Table 5, I'm sorry, Michael Bruman.
Part of the reason why this was brought to add the executive director in, it's not to say that the black shirts were not doing a good job, but to maybe add some consistency in branding. Since this is a IGRA event and our logo's on it, that some consistency in branding should be there through the buckles as well. So it's partly a brand disease. Make sure there's consistency in our logo and our brand. That's
Table 15.
Chuck Brown with CRGRA. I just want to point out that too, if it says that it's where it's going, I agree. The finance committee is doing what they're doing. I know there was an issue with some questionable with the logo and the image, but this is coordinating the World Day Rodeo Finals committee in the selection, which, okay, we're coordinating, we're adding another person into the mix, but coordinating in the ordering, it's not saying specifically who's ordering. And I don't want to add more complications to what we already have in place, but this does get a little bit complicated because it's not specifically saying that his responsibility is to order. It says coordinating the selection and order. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Table 13.
Christy Michaels, Red River. Looking at, the description of this seems more like an all duty as assigned, like it would be in a job description rather than should be in a bylaw.
Any further discussion? Table 11.
Back to please the NGRA, if we are going to move forward with this, I would recommend some verbiage refinement in that second bullet, because it's got WGRF. It says World Neighborhood Final. If we're going to use the acronym, it should be next following the World Neighborhood Final, and then it should not be repeated at the end of the sentence. If we're going to repeat it, then take it.
We are going to move forward with this and vote it up or down.
You got one more.
Table 4.
A point of clarification, let's say, all of
Yeah, well, A-L.
Can you repeat that, please?
Refresh, yeah. If you, Frank will hit refresh.
Refresh, Frank, please. Any further discussion on this issue? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no.
No.
The motion fails. I'm not deaf. Moving now to 07.
RR 07.
Rodeo Rules 07.
Can I jump to HS1 and HS2? We'll save that for afterwards.
Okay, just we're going to do something here because of our time frame. We're going to consider this after lunch, which will happen in 10 minutes. We don't want to eat cold food. So we're going to move to HS01 and HS02 prior to lunch, and we'll come back to this after lunch. So Frank, if you're able to pull up HS, Health and Safety 01, please. What's that?
There. They said yes.
So you're still in the do you want to, that's a health and safety question. Who do you want to present? So then we don't need to move on. You're moving to a new expense.
Oh, no. That's the one who told me.
What about standing
I didn't know where we were. So it's got to be so, yeah, we do SRO 1, but you can pause right now. We'll do 7 and SRO 1. It's not just so something else, even though it's standing relations.
SRO 1.
It is. It is. I have no idea what it is. I'm not, which is just.
All right, what we're going to do now, because lunch is served in 5 minutes, we're going to break for lunch. We'll sort this out and we'll come back after lunch. So lunch will be an hour since it's being served in-house. And it'll be 1 hour. We'll reconvene at 1 o'clock. And Tommy, it's in the breakfast room, is that correct?
Sorry, I guess. Sorry.
I'm not getting the fruit.
Just keep it in the
All right.
Yes. Everything really needs to
Some people might consider that fruit. But I'm not going to.
It's your committee. You want your committee's presenting. Because I went by pretty and fit. But it's your committee. Just the run. I haven't done this stuff. I did budget for this guy. Because my they're like, This is how you keep the put the shit on there. And it's like, yeah, no, I see. I can use jump because it can there. I can that's the HS whatever too. So when you're about to put it in,
Yeah, that's what they told us.
Yeah, they have something out there. They want to
Okay, so both the HSs are not. Oh, Benjamin. I was like, Benjamin, why don't say that? Well, I knew better. And I was like, good job.
Now we can help you make a proposal. Now it's your project, your worship. They can put shit up there. And now it's shit. Yeah. So we don't it is theirs, which is why you present it, you build it, it's shit. Make it pretty, make it around 7 inches. But you're thinking it's your chair, it's something you're wants.
Yeah.
It's done, but yeah, if you're attendees, if you're going to take care of it, and that can be taken care of. Right? Yeah.
Thank you, because I was like,
no, sorry.
All right, I'll tell Steph
If she wants to, she wants it. If she wants it,
okay, perfect. Thanks, buddy.
And you're welcome. I don't know what's in there.